हैंग हो गई।
नहीं हुई।
मेरी हो गई वो गूगल क्रोम हैंग हो गया मेरा। ओफो। Can you guys see me? Can you guys see me?
Yes, we can see you. We are live.
I can't see you guys.
Yeah, we can see you. We are live.
All right, here we are.
Dr. Sana?
Hello, everyone. As you can see, we have been MIA from our, own personal chat room at the Norn Way, but we have managed to stumble our way back today. Uh, Fighting with the internet disruptions and hurrying after our opening our fast. Here we are at the Norn Way with very, very interesting and a very profound topic, finding joy. So our discussion here at the Known Way today will be about finding joy. And anyone who's joining us, please feel free to connect with us and put your questions down. And we will really, among the three of us, be talking about the journey of finding joy. As you all know, that it's been a difficult year so far. It's been better than last year. But since last year, since the global pandemic, we've all been dealing with a rough, difficult, very sort of unpredictable, uncertain times. And while things were seeming to get better in our region, where we are experiencing a third wave, and it's a tough time for us and in our region. But at the same time, this is what life is, and we have to balance our struggles and our stability and continuing to find our purpose, our meaning, continue to pursue the journey of finding joy. So that's what we're talking about. So, girls, welcome. I'm so excited to connect with all of you, the two of you, all of us. How are you girls? First of all, doing, Nisha and Hamza?
I am better than good. Back with both of you and all excited. The energy is flowing and manifesting throughout out of the screen and seeing your faces because it was a pattern that we used to connect and impart our wellness concept to our viewers. And coming back is quite a good feeling. And the words are limited. I need to find better words to explain the feeling that I'm at the state that I'm experiencing. So over to you, Dr. Hafsa.
Would you, Misha, sorry, but would you be okay if I said that you're finding joy right now, right here?
Yes, I am finding joy right here. It's been a hell lot of roller coaster the previous months.
Yes.
Yeah, I would definitely want to share that why we were MIA, but in a very subtle way. Okay, over to you, Dr.
Dr. Hamza.
I have missed you guys, and I've missed you, Dr. Sana. I mean, after a very long time, we're here back with you.
Yeah.
Definitely missed you in the last session, and
Yes.
yeah, trying to find joy again.
Great, great, great. So, like I said, finding joy, and we've done an episode before about the pursuit of happiness and finding happiness, and this is quite on the same similar sort of a note. But the reason we chose this topic just to tell our audience is because, like I mentioned, the three of us were talking about it, and like I said, that everyone in some way is, I feel, always going through a journey of their own, and there's always ups and there's always downs. Life is like a yin yang, like a balance, right? And but it's not always necessarily a balance if you are not mindful of that, if you're not trying to create a balance. So while we're experiencing this third wave of the COVID, and we see a gloomy kind of a situation around us, and lots of other situations in our personal, professional lives, things keep happening. Life keeps happening for us, not to us. You must remember that.
Yes,
But
that has been the code of my life and my experience that not let life, and I've just changed the word life, separated the word, not just like life or professional life affect you in such a way so that it doesn't happen to you, make it happen for you.
yeah,
So because that's what I've been learning, and it was been a transformational journey for me and finding joy. If joy was not there, especially you two were not there to just share the parts, it because in the end, this is what that all matters. Yes, Dr. Sir.
absolutely. So I'm going to actually start from Dr. Hafza because lately, Dr. Hafza, you've gone through a tragic loss in your family, and it's connected to the pandemic, the COVID-19, and you have obviously it's been quite a rough time for you and your family. So just starting with you, how have you managed to like I mentioned, the yin and the yang, the up and the down. How have you managed to hold on to that balance, that stability, and not getting too drawn into the gloominess of the situation, the grief, and the hopelessness that sometimes sets in, because I think today, as in now, the kind of world we're living in, if you're not constantly in your mind reminding yourself that I need to fight for my joy, my happiness, my my stability, you might get swept away. So how have you done? What has it felt like for you?
Quite honestly, Dr. Sana, I don't think I had it together all the time. And I'd like to tell everybody around here that it's okay to not have it together all the time either. Because we, we've had our struggles of life, and we've, tried to find our balance, and we've been pretty firm. I recently wrote about the fact that, we've had our feet firm. We're trying to, manage somehow. But when the pandemic happened, it kind of threw us off balance because here we were holding our bucket of struggles, and it added a truckload to that as well. So
Mm,
it was natural for us to not be used to, you know, have that much strength enough to find to get a little disbalanced, and I certainly was. Uh, I thought 2020 was the worst, but 2021 came with a bigger hit. We lost a very near family member to the pandemic, and it's just sad how it makes you feel very helpless. Right when you think you've got it together, you've understood the disease a little better, people are
mm,
getting vaccinated and everything, and right when they're in the process of all of that, you suddenly lose somebody and you realize that life is yet still quite fragile. However, it's very, very important to do at least try and find that sense of balance. And I think I have been able to do that pretty much the way I was handling everything else, starting off with a bit of journaling, making sure that I have at least one to two people in my support system that I'm constantly talking to. Uh,
mm,
at the same time, there was also a time where I wanted to cut off from everybody else as well. I wanted some time to self reflect and, have a bit of solitude around me. I wasn't taking a lot of calls. I was telling my friends that, listen up, I do not have time for the usual conversations that we had. At the moment, my cup is pretty empty and I cannot pour it out. So it took me a while to find some balance before I could start finding a bit of joy. And that's how I would put it. First things first, the journey to joy begins with finding a bit of balance in your life. Once you've gotten some of it, then it becomes a little easier to gradually find more and more joy. Of the things that were have recently been very joyous for me is having my little nephew around. I mean, amidst everything else, when all the adults are sad and
yeah,
they know exactly what's going on, here's this little cute thing around you who's
yeah.
fit
Bubbling with
perfectly
hope.
in this little amazing bubble of a perfect world where everyone's there for him and taking care of him. And he's there making us laugh, pulling up his antics, trying these new words, trotting about in a new way, then making sure that everybody gives him attention. So I think I found a lot of joy in amidst all of this and there. And here, that's the thing. I mean, somewhere something small is out there making you happy. You just need to find it, I guess.
Absolutely. And how sweet. And exactly like from your experience. I mean, he this little nephew of yours. He sounds so adorable, and he was like this beautiful distraction, right? And that's a thing. That's a secret in life. You have to. I mean, when you're on the journey of finding joy, and that's a journey we must all choose to pick. Because if you give up on that journey, and it's very easy to give up on that journey, like the kind of loss you experience, for all of us, we all every single person I feel has their own struggle. But if you keep choosing to find joy, you will find some reason or the other to be grateful and you to distract you, from your struggle and from your personal struggle. So, Misha, coming to you, um, getting on to, this is something I want to ask you because you're a very high achieving individual. So is Dr. Hafsa. Both of you, you're really ambitious, very talented, incredibly intelligent women. But, since this question is for you, you're this high achieving, very ambitious girl, right? And then you have this really sort of encumbering professional life, and then you have your personal life. And sometimes, creating a balance in your work and personal life, work-life balance, that also gets very challenging. That also kind of gets taxing. Sometimes it gets too emotionally, you get overwhelmed in the struggle to find that balance. So how do you do it?
How
And
do I do it?
how are you
How do
doing
I
it?
do it? It's a very good question, and I've been hoping that you will ask it, and I'll share my 2 cents on it. And yes, it's hard. I will say that it's not easy. It's hard, damn hard, but it's not impossible. What
Mm,
you need to do is you need to first realize that when things are happening to you, yes, you cannot get up from the bed. You cannot, you don't have the energy that you had before, since I am that particular person who is a go getter, who is this high achiever, that if you tell me that this is your goal, and regardless of the setbacks, the amount of hard work that is required, I'm ready to do that.
mm,
But when life happens to you, it takes time to figure out that, to develop that growth mindset, and to redirect yourself that how to get back on track and let life happen for you.
yes.
It's been quite a long journey, that how, because I'm into healthcare profession and into therapies and all. Let me shed light onto my profession. I'm a speech language pathologist. Along with that, I read a lot of self-help books and stress management. And then I have you, Dr. Sana. You've been a great support during that particular time. Also, Dr. Afsa was also there. But there are certain things that on your relaxation webinar, or the triple C's one, that
Mm,
really helped, because constantly I was experiencing a lot of things, the psychosocial working conditions affecting my well-being. Because my thesis, let me just explain my thesis. Master's thesis topic is also on that is psychosocial working conditions association with burnout among
mm,
healthcare professionals. So I could see that whatever I was writing, I was experiencing. So all the depersonalization, the depression, the emotional setback. But how do I managed to get up? How did I do that? It's just because friends like you, self-help books, because I was self-aware that
mm,
this is happening to me. And I was I was mostly related to a job, and I just want to like tell everyone over here that don't spend too much energy on a job that will replace you in a skip of a heartbeat. Those and so people stop toiling away for a job that will replace you in a skip of a heartbeat, because what in the end what matters, your well-being, your
correct.
well-being. And that's what I love about Dr. Hafsa, that she knows that how to create a boundary. But when you know that sometimes you're creating a boundary, people will hit you below the belt, and these are all people. And then I realized that how to manage and get, if I keep on thinking negatively, oh they did to me, oh they did this to me, then I was just ruining and doing a bad thing to myself, because people think that, oh this happened to me, I should take a revenge now. So
Mm,
in order, in taking that revenge, we are just draining our energy, because all our good thought, the positive energy is deviated towards taking that revenge. Oh somebody did this to me. What I did, I started listening to Mufti Mink and a lot of good scholars, Islamic scholars, and also people from abroad. The Jeff Hagee also helped me, because a success coach plays an important role in your life, and he constantly, I am sharing my details with him. because he's my mentor at this point in time. He's training me, so I'm having these weekly calls with him. So he also laughed that you are doing great, and then you were there, people like you, good people. So I had blessings to weigh, that if one thing is going down, look how blessed I am that these people are there. My family, my father was there to support me, and he said one thing: take everyone as your teacher, even the bad people, because they are giving you a lifetime of experience. Because in future, when you'll experience that kind of a thing, you'll be prepared that I need to have that growth mindset. That's what Jeff taught me. Because growth mindset is okay, the problem is there, now how I can think to positively manage that. And
Yeah,
the other day I was reading that quote: if you are in control of your emotions, you become dangerous. So I just have that wicked laugh that,
yeah,
oh my god. Because anything I will tell everyone that if you are getting burned out on a job that pays you more, like I was getting paid a lot, but by the end of the day it is ruining your mental peace, then
I think
there
you
is
brought up a
no
very,
benefit.
very good point. I'm sorry, let me just stop you there because I
Yeah,
want you to carry on after that. But
yeah,
what I kept hearing you say is that don't toil away. To quote you,
yeah.
you said toil away after a job, and I fully agree with you. But what I want to sort of add into that is that don't toil away for anything. There's not a job in the world that
Yeah,
is, right? So first of all, one must understand that job is a job. It's a description of a role that you've identified yourself with. Of course, you must obviously take a job, but to the extent that you feel that it's taking over your life in a overwhelmingly mentally or emotionally powerful way, then that is a red flag, and that is where you need to step away and re-examine your priorities and re-examine your stressors and re-examine
Dr.
your
Sinha, Dr. Sinha, here I want to add a quote because I'll forget that. Forget
yeah,
in a while. Because
yes,
respect yourself to walk away from anything or any place that does not even grow you.
yep,
So you need to have that courage to take that action, because
absolutely,
bills will be paid, but what is required at the moment? Your mental peace. Because
yes.
when this is calm, ideas will flow. Because when this is on fire, this is under a storm, you cannot think.
Yes, agreed. And absolutely. I mean, I agree that don't let anything take so much power over you that it starts controlling your identity. Because again, like not only just this is not just for a job, right? We're not saying
Yeah,
on this that, oh, don't be dedicated to your job. No, not at all. I don't want people to misunderstand us. So I want to kind of rephrase our message again that, of course, you should respect your job. You should be dedicated towards your job. A lot of people find a lot of passion in their jobs. We love what we do. One of the luckiest thing that you can get is to have a job that you love, right? A lot of people don't love their jobs. I mean, very few of us actually love what they do, and we're lucky here that we're doing something we love. But at the end of the day, nothing is permanent. Nothing is
yeah.
permanent. Everything is transient, temporary. And like Hamza mentioned, coming back to the fragility of life and coming back to the impermanence of life, you see that you could be this high. You find stories today in today's world. I think there's no bigger there is not going to be a bigger moment to learn in history, or a bigger time to learn in history than what we have today and what we're going through today and last year, since the beginning of last year. This is actually a creation of history where we are being taught. You see, we're a generation of extremely high tech people, right? We're this digital high tech millennial generation, and we drove so much power from that. But then we're confronted with this uncertainty, this absolute fragility, this like a feeling of, gosh, if tomorrow I get out of my house, I might not be safe, worrying for your loved ones. You mentioned the importance of kind of putting yourself before anything in life. I think that's what Misha's message was. That I mean, she was relating it to work and a job from a job's perspective, and that's what I wanted to do. But the message that we're giving is that yes, be dedicated, but anything is asking you to put yourself, put that thing before yourself, then you have to stop and think about what's going on in that situation. So moving on, thank you for sharing your perspective. Again, coming back to you, Hamza, again, finding joy. It's such a, I love this finding joy. I think it's such a mysterious and such a sort of a, you know, uh, kind of a Sufistic thing that finding joy. What are the other things that you can find joy in?
I love the way you said like it's kind of Sufiist thing. So
Yeah,
it's just like it made
like,
me laugh.
but it's like in Buddhist religion as well. Like
Yeah,
I
I love that.
I love the Buddhist, point of view, this, the Sufi point of view. I mean, any perspective that tells you that continue to find joy and do not be driven and attracted to the materialistic attraction of things and the labeling and the appeal, the superficial appeal, the embodiment. Just try and see beyond it. So I think that finding joy is very closely related to that concept. And since we are in the holy month of Ramadan here, we're in our part of the country where we're Muslims and we're fasting. So I related to that as well, like our religion as well. So finding joy, like so all of these concepts, what do you want to say about that?
You put that quite rightly. Every kind of spirituality, whether it's in Buddhism or whether it's in Sufism or whether it's in Hinduism, uh, spirituality comes has an essence of trying to stay in the moment and finding joy in the moment. And uh, yes, it's innately spiritual as well that you can be present and you can be in the moment, but you can be at the same time content. Coming towards joy and what we've discussed so far, and what you're talking about, work life balance and everything else, I also would like to add the fact that finding joy amidst job challenges is a lot easier when your job isn't the only rock you have your foot on. I keep saying this particular example over and over again. I think in multiple talks we've had so far that, never have both your feet on one rock, never have both your feet on one rock. Same goes with job. It shouldn't be the only place of self worth or only place where you derive self worth from. If you can find your self-worth in other things besides your job as well, always have another avenue, always have a third avenue, a third circle of friends, a third outlet, your hobbies or anything of the sort. Have one place, and that particular thing, if let's say your job isn't working out, that third source is going to become your source of joy, and it's also going to become your source of self-worth. um, as far as finding joy is concerned, it also stems a lot from being very secure inside.
But
Uh,
how do you feel secure? Like, again, then you've touched upon another extremely, mystical and highly, like, conflicted, uh, I think, emotion. And this is another part of this journey, right? Like the word secure in itself is so complex. So, like, how do you find? Is anybody secure?
lately, I've been quite interested in trying to explore the differences between solitude and loneliness. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a part of it that makes you feel empty, and there's a part of it that makes you feel full. And at the moment, I'm trying to explore that. I'm not saying I have it all together, but I'm still trying to find that. So, if you can dissociate what you're experiencing when you're to yourself, dissociate yourself from loneliness and be more content in solitude, if you can be on your own and be happy, even if you're all on your own. I do feel that you can find joy in a number of places when you'll be surrounded by people or whether in whatever situation you're in. Like, for example, before COVID, though, and I really miss this part, before COVID, I used to take myself out for, solo dates. And
How cool is that?
I'd sit in a cafe, I'd sip on coffee, and I'd observe people around me, and I'd ask myself, reflect on things, let my mind flow, let it escape for a while, and I really miss it, and I really need to find other ways now to get back into that same bubble that I used to be. but it's a pretty good way of trying to find joy. If you can sit with yourself and enjoy it, I do feel that there's a lot of hope for us to try and find joy in every other situation there is. And
Very
it's
well
something I'm
said.
still looking into. So it's perfectly all right. I mean,
Yeah, very well said.
explore.
I think you've touched upon such a, again, you've touched upon such a spiritual concept. And just adding quickly to that, that if there wasn't joy in solitude, and if there wasn't joy in being in yourself with yourself and self partnering, then you wouldn't have heard stories of Buddha going away into the forests and giving up this life of a prince, and you wouldn't have our prophet going into the cave and giving up like the following of so many people. And there's so many other, like if you get out of religion and doctorates, you can find many examples. And I think what COVID has kind of brought to us is the is kind of getting used to it, because the world that we lived in before was a very busy world. I mean, let alone finding time for yourself, you barely could find time for the important relationships in your life. So this is a good opportunity, I'd say. And I've said this before also, that like self partnering, and eventually I think the way life works, all of our struggles, whether they're professional setbacks, whether they're personal setbacks, and setbacks are so many, you can't predict them. Eventually everybody has to get used to being by themselves, you know and
Yes,
that's
adding to
I've
that, Dr. Sana, that the question you asked to Dr. Hafsa, that the work-life balance, that how she used to find joy. She was the one who introduced me the concept of having a third circle. She was the one who introduced me the concept of finding joy by sitting by yourself.
yeah,
So, but now during the COVID happened and the adverse circumstances that I've been through, it made me realize that being a high achiever and getting paid for a job that I love my job, but the adverse circumstances are the one that made me make a difficult decision to leave that particular job. And I respect myself to do that. And Dr. Hafsa was like, "It's your move was commendable, and your support was there." And Jeffs was like, "Hey, have you left that organization already?" Yeah, I was sure. But then I found joy within my family with by talking to you on the little things, because my routine is quite like army cadet, like an army cadet, because I wake up at 4, then I pray tahajjud, and then I spend time with myself. I recite the Quran Pak, and then accordingly, I just have this power hour. So that helped me a lot to regain and refuel, just because of the tiny little good habits and finding joy within the nature and spending time with my parents. Yes, I was vulnerable at some point in time, and also a bit respectful to my loved ones, but then here comes you, and you who taught me, who adulting is hard but not that hard. So I knew that this is the thing, this is where I need to be quiet, and this is where I need to talk, and this is all a learning experience for me, because in the end what all matters, your smile, your time and kindness,
yeah,
this gives you joy. Because by the end of the day, being present in the moment, because talking to you is a joyful experience for me, because as Dr. Hafsa mentioned, that you need to create a hobby and all that, we created the Norway, and alhamdulillah, this is our birthday week months. So viewers, this
yeah,
is our
This is
birthday
definitely something
month.
to be joyous about.
Yeah, I'm so happy that look how far we have come, because the quote that I live by, that if you want to go alone, go, if you want to go fast, go alone, and if you want to go far, go together. And look what we have created, a community that that is following us. And Dr. Sana is like giving PhD lecture, like relaxation webinars to PhD students. That's a win-win thing for all of us, and I'm so happy that we created this thing. And leaving that particular job was paying me like so much more, that leaving it was a quite good decision, but financial wise, but because this was what my brother tells me, when you have a skill, you can multiply your income 7 times regardless of the fact of whatever job they're paying you, because institutes have a way to manipulate individuals.
I'm worrying for your brother. He's going to get a lot of questions because now he's come up with this thing about 7 times more. You
Yeah,
can get 7 times more. So let's invite your brother next time on our session.
yeah, it will be a quite
He's quite
eventful
inspired.
session.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but having said all of that, let's come back to finding joy. I think the takeaway message would be that
Before that,
yeah, Hamza,
Dr. Sana, I would like to ask you, how do
go
you
ahead.
manage to find joy being a full-time mom, being somebody who is actually far more challenged with actual responsibilities you cannot say no to or run from? I mean, what you're doing is a full-time employment. If more than it's not even a matter of a day-to-day choice. You
yeah,
have to be there for your kids all the time. How do
Yeah.
you manage to do? And I think a lot of mothers have this question. There
yeah.
is when
Thank
they
you,
want to
Dr.
run
Oscar,
away
for
from
bringing
it.
it up.
Yes. No, that's a really good question. That's a question that I get asked all the time, and I really can only say that, I think that I find so much joy in being a mother and my children. Like you mentioned, your nephew, and like you mentioned that, and I mentioned earlier that there is no one, there's no adult who isn't going through various struggles and various battles, and you have your good share and you have your sour share as well. And you have to create a balance. But coming back to the question of how I balance, that's what I think I constantly struggle to find joy. And, I'm very fortunate that I have no kids because I find immense joy in them. They're really my, sanctuary, and I mean, they give me a lot of joy. So, and the responsibilities that come with being a mother, yes, they can be physically, mentally challenging, but emotionally, it's very rewarding, you know. And I want to say this that for anything, regardless of being a mother and a parent, or you know, I mean, on any level, whether it's emotional, whether it's financial, whether it's spiritual, whether it's mental, psychological, I think they all go hand in hand. If any level is wobbling or destabilizing, you'll find that the structure will start destabilizing, right? So the key is to really, really stop when you feel that shake or that shakiness, when you feel that discomfort in your life on any level, whether it's in an emotional, financial, professional, as you start feeling that okay, something is wrong, something is overwhelming me, do re-examine your life. No one is a better judge of your situation than you are, than we are. At the end of the day, as adults, as human beings, we have no choice but to take responsibility for our decisions and our lives and ownership of our decisions. And then live with them and then go through the consequences that come with them. And finding joy is a choice. If we have to do it, we have to choose that choice every day. Otherwise, it's very easy to get swept into gloominess and dullness and feeling low about life. It's very, very, very easy. It's important that we find meaning, we find purpose. And if you have meaning, if you have purpose, you will end up finding joy. And this is what Tony Robbins says that you first have to find your meaning, you have to create a purpose. And this is our responsibility as human beings. We're all intellectual human beings like Misha, Hafza, Sana. All three of us have different lives. We come from different walks of life. But it's up. I can't create meaning for you. You can't create a meaning for me or a purpose, and I can't do that for you. We all have to choose to create a purpose, find meaning in that purpose, and then end up on the journey of joy. Cannot give up. Will not give up. Do not make that choice. We will choose to fight for it. And yes, that is life. That is life. And you have your tears in your secrecy. Most of us cry and don't show it. We don't want to be vulnerable. But let's find joy. Let's find joy and let's be brave about finding joy.
Yes, and Eid is coming.
Yeah.
So,
So girls,
yeah,
Eid is
so
coming, and that's something we're finding joy in. This is a very festive month for us. All Muslims are fasting. We are looking forward to this really, really, holy month ending with this amazing festivity called Eid, where we all celebrate. Unfortunately, because of COVID, We will not be able to celebrate as much as we would like to. And Hafsa, let's talk about a few messages we would like to leave our audience with. Like, as much as we'd like
I
to
would
celebrate and be
definitely,
festive
yes,
with what's
yes.
going on, what would you leave?
I would definitely, like you said, that we need to try and make sure that finding joy is the choice, and we need to make that choice. As every time, I will say that there are some people around us, and a lot of people around us, who cannot even make that choice, who cannot find joy. Somebody who's suffering, somebody who's experienced a near death, in the family, or somebody who isn't affluent enough to try and have the privilege to choose joy every time. Just make
Yes.
sure that you find joy in cultivating joy for them. This Eid is an
Mm,
excellent opportunity, or any festival for that matter, is an excellent opportunity for us to go and spread those smiles. I think the best way I can propagate to the people around here to find joy is to make joy and create it for others out there. Uh,
Yeah.
be charitable about a lot of things. Go out and help people as much as you can. Call up people who are in distress. And anyone who cannot choose joy at this moment in time, try and find joy in creating joy for them, or try and find in alleviating their hardness, at least, the hardship maybe. So this is my message to everybody. At the same time, I would also say that as much as we're going through a very trying time, and I can speak on behalf of a lot of people here, because I experienced a lot of struggles recently too, major losses in the family. I do feel uh, find some time, maybe, even if you can't, but do find some time to take it a little easy in the next few days, the holidays that there are, and
mm.
do celebrate a bit if you can. If you can't, no worries. Just stay to yourself, keep composed. But if you can, in some way, do celebrate that a bit, or try enable somebody else to celebrate it. It's going to make a
Yeah.
lot of difference to what we've been going through, and it's definitely going to, you know, cast away a lot of dark clouds that have been around for a while. That's what I feel.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's
I
no
just
greater
want to
support
add
than
the
support.
message.
So,
Yeah,
Michelle, your message.
yeah. I just want to add a message that since Eid is around the corner, so just count your blessings. Count your
Mm,
blessings that will make you happy. And as Dr. Hafsa mentioned, that smile, it's charity, and it's the most charitable act. But I just want to quote Zig Ziglar, the world's motivational speaker. He said that anyone can be a philanthropist.
yes.
How? By just sharing a smile, by just giving an ear to listen, by just giving a shoulder to cry on. And for that, you need to be full. So take care of yourself and your loved ones around. And Eid is around the corner. Follow all the SOPs and take care of. It's our duty as a human being now that SOPs are our new normals. Follow that, have dawats, have a lot of fun evenings, but under control. Yeah, just call few people and then follow the SOPs. Yeah, because that's how we are connected now, Dr. Afsar.
Just
Sadly,
make
people are
Yes,
going.
just make sure that whatever way you're socializing, be very responsible about it,
Yeah, be
because
responsible, follow SOPs.
very find joy in being responsible. To be very honest, nowadays, if you want to find joy in
Oh,
something,
lovely.
start
Hafsa, that's such a
start.
beautiful thing you just said. Find joy
Yeah,
in being
because
responsible. That's the need of the hour. And I'm so
I
glad. I
know
mean,
for a fact,
Yeah.
our generation has a very unique opportunity to tell our adults what to do right now. So use that
Yeah,
to your
because
advantage
adults are
and
not
answer.
listening at this point in time. So we are just educating, but in a very subtle and a respectful manner, so that things are addressed and the relationships are also kept. So it's because the other day I was listening to this TED talk. The lady said either be right or either keep the relationship. So we need to have a growth mindset so that message is understood and everyone is happy. So Dr. Sana, what's your message?
my message is to take both your messages very seriously because I cannot add to what you added. I think you pretty much covered it. I'm so proud of you both. I think I want to end with the same message. Hafza very, very, beautifully and explicitly said, find joy in being responsible. So please, let's all be responsible.
We lost a member in the family because of a lot of lack of responsibility. Let me just put this out there, not on our part but theirs. And as much as Misha,
Especially
you're, I will
somebody
say
doesn't
that
matter whose fault it is, everybody suffers. So just
Yeah.
be responsible. And when it
Yeah,
comes
be
to
responsible and just be all that. And with that, we are all wishing you a very happy Eid Mubarak from the Norway team. And Dr. Sana, Dr. Hafsa, wish our viewers so that we can just wind up this session for today.
yes, well, Eid Mubarak in advance. Be safe and be responsible.
Dr. Hafsa, you Eid
Eid
Mubarak.
Mubarak, everybody. Try and cultivating joy for others.
Yes, with that, we're signing off, and we'll definitely just in the end, we'll just wanted to add since it's our birthday month, we're on 30th May, we will be 1 year old.
Yes,
Yes, did you know that, both of you? So we will
I
be.
reminded you about it.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
you
Indeed.
both reminded me. So, viewers, just taking one like 10 seconds of your time. That now we have very special episodes coming up around the corners. We have reached out our previous guests who have been on our show. We will be calling them, and it's going to be a mega birthday celebration, and we will be launching a service soon that we will be providing on our part as a non-web platform, because a lot is going to we have achieved a lot, and thank you for being a family and a community to us. So
Yep.
with that, Dr.
With
Sana and
that,
Dr.
signing
Hamza,
off. Have a very blessed Eid, and for everybody else, have a very blessed, you know, month, week. Just be safe, be careful, be charitable, be there for each other. Signing off. Bye bye from the Norway.
bye.